coming at you guys with a duel replay. So I ended up dueling this gentleman a little bit earlier today, and I wanted to end up showcasing you guys the duel because I thought it was actually a really good showcase to show 6 Sams. As you guys already know, that's been following me for a while. I absolutely love 6 Samurais because they're the best deck. Nah, I'm just playing, just throwing a stab at Triff Gaming. But anyway, wanted to showcase you guys. So without further ado, let's just dive into it. So he's playing Dinos actually. In his hand, he's got Overraptor, Lost World, Torrential Tribute, Servant, and Overtech, if that's how you pronounce his name. And then I have Shan Smoke Signal, Kagaki, Temple, the 6, Hatsume, and another Shan Smoke Signal. So I'm going first. So I'm gonna end up just kind of breaking it down as far as for my lines of plays and also the dinosaurs lines of plays, so you can end up seeing how busted 6 Samurais are, especially if your opponent does not have a hand trap. So let's go ahead and just click through. So I'm going to activate Smoke Signal. Oh, and then on the side, just as a little sidebar, funny conversation, I ended up talking to this dude and I was just telling him, damn dude, your rank is super high. Well, actually I first said, damn, I love your card sleeves, they look dope. I love Egyptian gods as far as for guard sleeves. So I was just saying that, damn dude, you know, I know your ranking is super high, that's why you were able to end up getting your deck sleeves. And he said, yeah, I know, it took me pretty much a year. And I said, haha, I believe it. I said, you pretty much was probably putting in that work like a professional athlete. So he started just cracking up and just thinking that that was hella funny. I thought it was too, so I threw a joke out. And then he just kind of just ended up talking to me as I continued to keep hitting the next button. Well, first off, let me just go through this. So I activate Smoke Signal. I'm going to end up getting a Mizuho. And then I'm going to end up getting a Smoke Signal, which is going to allow me to get Shienai. And then I'm going to activate Temple, and then I'm going to activate Kagaki. The effects is going to resolve. And then I guess on the side, which is what I was just about to say, he asked me if I played any sports because I use that reference as far as for him putting in that work like an athlete. And I told him that he asked me if I played sports, and I told him that I had ended up playing professional ball for a little bit. And then I ended up pretty much switching up careers and ended up deciding to be a software engineer. And I told him that it's got a little bit more longevity as far as having a job, having a career, and being able to still make just as much money, depending on what level, of course, of professional ball that you do play. So he just thought that that was all dope. You know, he was just kind of just talking to me, trying to get to know me, I guess, a little bit more. But I wanted to focus on the duel because I wanted to whoop that ass, if you know what I mean. So I ended up kind of just telling him everything that I just told you. But I'm going to special summon Mizuho because of Kagaki's effect. And then I'm going to special summon Shienai because I have a Mizuho on the field. So I'm going to send Kagaki and Mizuho for a Soul. Soul's both effects are going to resolve because he doesn't have a hand trap. So I'm going to get Kagaki. Just a little sidebar note for the guys that don't know 6 Samurai's lines of plays. I ended up grabbing Kagaki because I already activated Kagaki's effect. So with me adding Kagaki from a Soul's effect, it's pretty much a smart add to hand from its first effect because it's already dead basically. So me activating a Soul's effect to get Kagaki, it kind of was a no-brainer for me to add. And that's typically what I normally go for when I do activate a Soul's first effect, because if I do activate Kagaki or not, it's just an easy discard because typically I'm still going to be able to get my lines of plays with Kagaki or not. So I activate and resolve a Soul's second effect. I'm going to end up milling 4 quips, and then I'm going to activate Kazaru's effect, which I'm going to search for another Mizuho. Now I'm going to end up I'm going to end up sending Kagaki and a Soul to end up getting into Battle Shogun. Battle Shogun's effects are going to resolve. I'm going to send Kagaki. since he's a dead card in hand. And I'm going to get Gateway of the 6. I'm going to activate Gateway of the 6, and I'm going to special summon Mizuho again because I have she and I on the field. That's going to allow me to end up ranking up on counters. And now I'm going to activate Gateway's effect. I'm going to send 4 Bushido counters from the field to end up getting a she and I. And then I'm going to special summon she and I because I have a Mizuho on the field. So at this point, I'm telling the dude that I pretty much have an infinite loop for an unlimited amount of Bushido counters on the field. So he's like, what? Really? How? So I end up basically going through the combo, and I can show you guys that as I'm going through my gameplay so you guys know what that is too. So I activate Mizuho's effect. Mizuho's effect is going to activate by tributing 1 monster on the field. I'm going to end up selecting my Shienai. And then when I do tribute, I get to target 1 card on the field to pop. I'm going to pop himself. So now when Mizuho hits the field, Shienai's effect is going to ignite in the graveyard, which is going to allow me to grab a 6 samurai monster from the graveyard to my hand. And that's going to end up being Mizuho. Mizuho is going to special summon because of Shienai being on the field. I'm going to rack up counters, and then I'm going to take down counters, 4 of them, to be able to get Mizuho Shienai from the grave to the hand to special summon again. And that's pretty much the loop. So it's pretty much Mizuho to tribute to pop himself. Shienai in the grave is going to grab Mizuho. Mizuho is going to go to hand, special summon, and then I'm going to end up dropping counters to get the second Shienai and do it all over again. This infinite loop pretty much works when you end up having 2 Shienai and 1 Mizuho, because when you activate Mizuho to pop Shienai needs to hit the graveyard. Jeez, got like a tongue twisting mouth right now. So when Shienai hits the graveyard to send Mizuho is going to end up coming to my hand, and I'm going to allow it myself to be able to special summon every single time because the second Mizuho is on the field. I know that's really wordy. I know that probably may be even more confusing than me just showing you that little clip of video for the combo, but that's initially how it works. And I'll be showing you guys more and more videos as time goes on so you guys can see how the combo and lines and plays are. Or if you guys don't want to wait for my videos, you could definitely go check out some other YouTubers. There's tons of content out there for you to be able to see the combo. But I would love if you ended up just checking out my content because I love you guys so much and I want you guys to know what's going on with my deck, my builds, and just my content. Alright, so I'm going to carry on with the duel, and I am telling him I'm going to activate 6 Samurai, Gateway of the 6, to end up pretty much adding all the 6 Samurai monsters from the deck to hand. So I'm just going to massively cook this next play button, to end up adding all the 6 Samurai from the deck to hand. And I'll show you and I'll tell you guys in just a second why I am doing that. So I'll special summon Kizan. I'm going to end up sending 4 to end up getting a Saruja. So Saruja, and this is the reason why I'm trying to add all the 6 Samurais from the deck to the hand, is because Saruja, with me sending 4 materials, is going to allow me to be able to draw 4, put back 3. I realized with my hand, field, and graveyard that I do not have a Shien Squire or a Dojo that I have used or drawn. So I'm realizing from Saruja, which typically you want to have in your extra deck as a 6 Samurai player, it's a must if you don't have it, because you want to end up getting to Shien, Squire, or Dojo, so you could be able to have your infinite, I guess, loop to be viable for you to be able to put out the monsters that you want to put out. Like basically a vomiting board of just insane field for your opponent to pretty much just give your handshake, extending your arm across the table and just saying GG, basically. Let's go to game 2 or 3. So, and I'll show you guys in action basically what I mean. So Saruja is going to activate his effect. I'm going to end up drawing 4. So I end up wolfing definitely on the 4. I do get Monster Reborn, which is, I think, decent to extend anything that I may need to do for the next turn. But right now it's not really helpful. So I'm going to end up putting back. Oh, right now he ended up saying you weren't able to draw 4 because you didn't send 4 for Saruja. So I'm special summoning basically back all the 4 monsters that I ended up sending for Saruja. So he said, okay, cool, I understand, gotcha, sounds good. So I'm going to send those 4 back, and then I'm going to end up putting back 3. And then I'm going to pretty much activate Rhoda. I'm going to activate Gateway to end up getting all the 6 Samurais from the deck to the hand. And again, you want to thin out your deck before you activate Saruja's effect. It's very crucial that you do that because you want to see the key cards that you need to draw into no matter what. So Gateway is going to activate its effect. And then I told him right here that I want to kind of skip a step as far as what normally Gateway does, which is get monsters from the graveyard or get monsters from the deck to my hand to be able to then at that point special summon anything that I may or can do. So I told him, instead of doing that, let me just special summon so I could just speed up my turn, because with the loop, with me setting up my board, it's definitely like at least a 10 to 15 minute combo. So I end up special summoning the monsters that I want. Basically, I'm going to send all 4 to get another Saruja because I'm trying to search for a Squire or I'm trying to search for Dojo. First draw I get is Dojo. So I'm going to send 4. And then the beautiful thing too is I have typical tactic talent. So coming back to my turn, if he has for some reason a way to be able to break my board, once you guys see it at the end, I could have a follow-up with the tactical talent. I have United, I have Monster Reborn, I have 5, 6 different, 6 Samurais in hand. I'm feeling good just in case something does happen. Anyway, I'm going to proceed. I'm going to activate Dojo and United, and then I'm going to activate Saruja to special summon Fuma. Mainly what I'm doing at this point is I'm just massively special summoning a ton of monsters onto the board so I could be able to end up getting into my Appaloosa. Just in case, I know it's kind of late and whatnot, but this is like my first negate. I didn't know if he knew what I was doing because it was asking me a lot of questions that I felt like someone that doesn't know the deck would ask. Or he was just, I guess, waiting to end up possibly activating like a Nibiru or something like that, or a hand trap of some sort at the right time. So I wanted to get into Appaloosa for sure after that second Saruja, once I found my Dojo, so I could be able to make sure that I could comfortably combo off without having any interruptions. Because some people apparently, I guess, activate Nibiru right before like battle or right at the end phase of someone's turn if they don't have any negates, which I think it's insane, especially with this type of format. But I don't know. I didn't know what he had in hand, so I just kind of just thought, let me just get my Appaloosa, which is clutch. Definitely it having 4, counter effects on it, and it being at 32. So I end up basically sending Dojo to end up getting Squire. Dojo can send to end up getting any type of Shin or 6 Samurai monster from my deck to my field. So I had enough to end up at least saying that I had 1. So I end up sending off Squire. I send off Dojo to get Squire. So at this point, I'm going to special summon Mizuho because of Gateway, because I don't want to add anything to my hand, because I don't want to do more work than I need to. So I end up sending those 3 to end up getting into Borlo, which is going to allow me to be able to search for Saruja or grab Saruja from the grave. Equipped it to Borlo. Borlo is going to have 4, which he's going to be a heavy beater, and also he's going to have 4 counters to be able to negate something. So right now I got 8 negates, which I'm feeling pretty solid about. So at this point I'm going to end up doing the same thing, but I'm just going to use Kizan and Squire. I'm going to send those 2 off to get Xian. And then I'm going to do the same exact thing, get Kizan, get Squire, and then I'm going to end up getting into Nat Beast. And then I'm going to get a Squire one more time, and I'm going to send a Squire and Shianai to end up getting Herald. And that is pretty much the end board. I'm just going to thin out my deck a little bit from Gateway, and then I'm going to end up activating United to draw 2. And it's the cards that I didn't want to see. So for some reason at that point with the United, I guess I was looking for Instant Fusion, but Now thinking back at it, I honestly didn't need to have Instant Fusion, because what I wanted to do was basically get Millennium Eye, so I could be able to special summon that to the field, but that wouldn't really have helped me because at this point he would have just basically left to go to the graveyard at the end of the turn. If I ended up getting into Instant Fusion before I had the field that I had, and I had a little bit more space, I could have probably sent Millennium Eye as one of the link materials to be able to go into like Appaloosa or Saruja and then activate it Monster Reborn and bring it back, but it didn't line up that way. So anyway, I end up basically just sending a few cards from the hand to the deck to the graveyard, and I end on this field. So let's walk through the Dino player's play so we can just kind of just break it down and analyze like how he played, or how we were properly playing our Six Samurai deck to be able to combat against the Dino player, because as we all know, it can break board, so I had to be careful. As soon as I saw him activate Lost World, I was like, okay, I'm playing a Dino player. So he activates, asks me basically if I want to negate it, and I said no, I don't, because I ended up reading it again, since you know I personally haven't played I've played quite a bit of Dino players, but it's not a normal thing, so I had to read that fact. And I read that basically it ends up having you not be able to target their Dino monsters. And I looked at my field and I reread just to make sure that any of these effects don't target. So since they don't target, I'm like, okay, if he activates Lost World, gives me a token, I'm still going to be able to stop his monsters from being able to activate and pop them, because my monsters don't negate. They don't target. So he ends up activating Servant. I'm going to negate that with Shein, because I realized with this line of play on this card, I was thinking, okay, I have Herald, so cards from his side is going to end up getting banished. And I was like, no, actually, kid, you only have that effect if it's from the hand or the deck. So I thought about it. I was like, extra deck isn't the same thing as main deck. So when it does get, when Servant does activate, it's going to be able to pop one of my monsters, and it's going to end up allowing them to be able to get, I think, a let me see, special summon from extra deck. Yeah, and then they can add a Dogmatica card. So that was definitely somewhat of a problematic card. So I just negated that with She and I. That's going to go to the graveyard, and then he's going to end up activating Overraptor, and then he's going to chain link with Lost World. So correct me, chat, or just anyone that ends up seeing my video, if that works. And the reason why I'm saying that is because Overraptor was activating and was able to resolve its effect from the time that it got summoned, because the Lost World was, I guess, a chain link 2 from Overraptor's effect. Now correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that he can do that, because Lost World is not a quick effect, it's a once per turn. So I'm assuming that it needs to be in 2 separate chains. Lost World activate and Overraptor activate 2 different separate times. But correct me if I'm wrong, because I honestly thought that that was something that I look back at and I'm like, he actually kind of cheated with that. But I don't know, I'm not a Dino player, I may not know all the rulings, but I do know, I think, a fair amount as a Yu-Gi-Oh player. And I think that that was definitely a misplay on his end, but correct me if I'm wrong. So he says, okay, I'm just chaining basically Overraptor as 1, Chainlink 1, Lost World as Chainlink 2, so I can't basically block it by negating it. So I'm like, alright, cool, no problem. So he ends up giving me a token from Lost World, and he searches Pinkertops. He's going to special summon Pinkertops. So at this point, this is where it kind of gets a little funny. So he sees that, okay, I got Pinkertops, I got Overraptor, I look at his field, what can I do? And then he ends up quitting, as you guys will see in a second. Oh, okay, so not yet. So he ends up getting a miscellaneous source from his top deck draw when it became his turn, which he literally had the nuts. But he dropped a miscellaneous source because he wanted to make sure that his monsters were pretty much protected. And I said you can't activate. I mean, you can activate miscellaneous sources from effect from the hand, but once it hits the out of the hand and hits the bandit zone, it's not going to allow its effect to ignite or resolve because it's in the bandit zone. It's not in the graveyard. It literally says in the text, during your main phase, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. During your main phase, dinosaur monsters you control are unaffected by card effects. So it's not going to the grave, it's going to the bandit zone. So it can't activate its effect. So I told him that, and he's like, oh shit, yeah, you're right, man, my bad. So I'm like, no problem, man. Kid Brave's here. You know, he wants to make sure that no one's cheating or kind of misplaying here. So I'll be judge and player at the same time. No problem. So he says, okay, yeah, no, you're right. So he's going to end up taking that back. I said, you could take it back. It's no problem, man. I know you misplayed. No, it wasn't intentional. Just take it back and just continue to keep trying to do your thing. So at this point, he ends up looking around and he realizes, oh shit, like I can't even play Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I have, let's see, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 11 interruptions, and I have, I guess if you count Nat Beast, 10, or I guess she ends at negate too. So 11 interruptions, 11 negates. And then the thing is though that he ended up deciding like I'm gonna quit is because I have Temple of the Six. Temple of the Six is so clutch, honestly, especially when you have it and you infinite loop. Because if you read its text, it says monsters your opponent controls loses 100 attack for each Bazooto counter on this card. I infinite looped with Temple on the field, so it literally has 1 million counters on it. So literally any monster that special summons, normal summons, of any sort is going to have 0 attacks as soon as it hits the field. So he realized that because I'm like, okay, I wonder why he quit, because he could end up baiting out at least or getting rid of 3 more negates, and he would have pretty much had me either have Borload or Appaloosa's effect being live. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then he told me the Temple, and I'm like, dang, like honestly, if he never told me that and he went to battle, I would have honestly sent the monsters that I needed to send to the graveyard. So he ends up quitting, but I'm thinking like if I didn't have Temple, would he have been able to break this board? And I kind of looked at his hand, analyzed his field, and just kind of saw if he could have. Because so if I had Temple, let's just say I had Temple, but let me see. No, let's say I didn't have Temple, okay? Let's see if he could have ended up breaking my board without Temple. So I personally would have ended up using Overraptor to attack Herald. Then I would have ended up activating Pinkertops to attack Nat Beast. So these two are probably the most problematic monsters, because these two can pretty much, well, this, let me see. So neither one of them actually, no, Appaloosa, yeah, it can get attacked over by Tyranno, but not Borlo, because I think he's at 47 if I'm not mistaken. I don't feel like doing math. It's freaking 12 o'clock at night, and my bedtime is typically like 10:30. So, but I'm just putting this content out because I love you guys, and I want you guys to see a new and improved Six Samurai deck and how it's broken even in 2021. For a minute, I forgot what year it was. I'm still used to calling this year 2020. So if you guys didn't notice, my eyes was definitely wandering over to the corner area in my laptop trying to see, what year is it? Oh, 2021? All right, gotcha. So he would end up pretty much taking care of Nat Beast, Herald, and then he would probably activate Miscellaneous Source, drop that, so it goes to the actual graveyard and his monsters are unaffected by card effects. Then I think he would have, I don't know what he would have done at that point, because he can't get Ortex to the graveyard, I don't think. Let me see, what else? Miscellaneous Source. Let me see his other effect. You can banish any number of dinosaurs from your graveyard, including this card, special summon one monster from the deck with a level or equal to. Oh, you know what? I think he would have been able to end up getting dang, that one like chameleon blue looking lizard dude. I forget his name, but he could, I think, special summon that, or he could have got Baby. I think Baby special summons. One of their dinos would have been able to, I think, send Oviraptor from the hand to the graveyard. And I think he would have been able to pretty much bait out cards. But since he would have dropped Miscellaneous, my monster's effects would have been unaffected by his stuff. But then again, dropping Miscellaneous Source, I think I would have stopped it with that Palooza and would have dropped. And then I think he would have probably used Pankratops to attack over Appaloosa, and then I would have had Borreload only on the field. But I don't think that would have been enough on his end for him to have enough steam to stop me. So anyway, I'm just analyzing it and I'm just breaking it down if I didn't have tempo. But I played it, I think, perfectly, where I don't think any deck could have ended up breaking this board. You guys leave a comment below if you guys think there was a board or deck that naturally would have been able to break this. And I'm not talking about side cards, because obviously any side card that's broken or that can support, breaking boards would have definitely been able to do the job. But I'm just talking about generically, inherently, the core archetype of a deck being able to stop this board. I don't personally see it. But again, leave a comment down below if you guys think there is one, because I would love to hear it. So just wanted to kind of give you guys a little rundown basically of how this deck was built, what the field was, how the combos work, and how did I get to this point beating a meta deck. Because in my opinion, dinos I think are still meta. Until Miscellaneous gets to 1 or 0, it's meta for sure. So I was very proud of myself to be able to have my 6 Samurai deck, be able to beat dinos. I've been playtesting this build for a few days now, and I absolutely love it. Like, I cannot get enough of this deck. It's just so broken. If someone doesn't have a hand trap, it's game. And if someone has a hand trap, if they don't hit me at the right time, I'm going to be able to combo off and still be able to play. Especially with me running triple tactical talents. I run Call by the Grave, and I run Instant Fusion, so I can be able to special summon Millennium Eye Restrict. So I have a few cards in my deck to be able to stop hand traps. So yeah, it's definitely busted. It's definitely strong. But I did want to end up kind of just doing a little sidebar comment and just say I have some breaking news. So I just ended up starting a new job as a software developer, and we are actually in the transition for my family on looking to getting a house. So there's been a lot of things, and also, if you guys haven't heard, I do have a son and he's 7 weeks, so he himself is literally a job. But I have a lot of stuff kind of going on with that list that I've told you. So I just wanted to end up saying to you, though, that once I do get situated with the new house that we find and decide to move in, I'm going to have some fire events, concepts, content, all of the above for you guys. So since I'm a web developer or software engineer, whatever you want to call it, it's the same title. I'm actually cooking up a really dope website that's going to honestly lay out everything that I'm going to surprise you guys with. So in the near I want to say in the near coming weeks, I'm going to end up popping up with content for me to be able to show you guys kind of just what's going on behind the scenes of what's going to be happening, what I'm creating, what I'm building, what I'm going to be doing, just all of the above. So please, guys, if you guys aren't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so, because I will be putting up content throughout this journey, and definitely periodically as much as possible. I know it has definitely been a minute for me posting up new content, but I definitely wanted to show you guys this, and I do plan to end up putting up more content. I'm just now getting kind of in the swing of things as far as for my new schedule. So with me getting adjusted to that, hopefully you guys can see my black ass face more often on my videos. Alright guys, well I just wanted to shoot this over to you guys and give you that breaking news. Definitely comment, like, and subscribe. If you guys aren't, please share and comment down below with other friends, and also please for yourselves, because I definitely need that traffic and conversion for people to end up checking out my YouTube channel so I can touch other people just like you guys to be able to see more of my content. So in the meantime, guys, I just wanted to say thank you for looking. Thank you for checking out my content. Thank you in advance for comment, likes, and subscribes. And I will be catching you guys later. All right, Kid Brave signing out, guys.